Hello and welcome, I'm Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. I am the Magic the Gathering content creator equivalent of taking financial advice from a man you've just met on the internet. This isn't going to be an MTG finance video, okay? This is going to be a video where we kind of laugh at the absurdity of it all. I'm not going to help you to buy low, sell high, or get rich. I'm going to invite you with myself to just laugh at how expensive some of this fucking cardboard has gotten. Because it's kind of fucking wild. If anything, this is an absurd comedy against the backdrop of a real tragedy. So let's just jump right into it and start with the emerging archetype of Mill in Modern that recently got a powerful upshift in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, which is weird because the set was evidently not very powerful. Mill has always been a thing that you might stumble into in a league or in a side event, but it wasn't a monster until now, kinda, with the addition of Tashar's Laughter. This is having an effect on the price of some of the staples in the deck. First up, we see several decks in the Modern Challengers top 8s using Darkness in the deck's main deck. I've always found it weird that people get funny about whether you call it the main board or the main deck or the sideboard or the side deck. I've always said sideboard and main board, but I've seen people get very upset about saying main board, so I guess sideboard and main deck. But then you're using two different terms to refer to two different parts that are part of a cohesive whole that becomes a deck. So ultimately, it doesn't fucking matter. Darkness is a way to combat the creature-focused aggressive decks in the format, namely, is it Blitz? Is it Tempo? Is it aligned decks in general? And is it butter? I can't believe it isn't. I played 3 to 4 copies in last week's video as well, which of course must have had an effect on it because I'm kind of a big deal. The price has been creeping up. A middle price on both versions of Darkness is around $17, or you can pick up a copy that's been chewed by a dog over here in Europe on Magic Card Market for around €4. The price difference between European cards and American cards has always made me laugh. I don't really know why it is, so I'm just going to assume it's because Americans are more willing to spend money on luxury cardboard because they're fucking stupid. That was a joke. Kinda. Mill has also been dragging the price of Oloro Palace in the Clouds up as well. Not to be mistaken with a big chair Chungus daddy Oboro. Wait, no, the land is Oboro, he is Oloro. I haven't even written it right in my script. Oloro is now upwards of $10 a pop because he's only had a reprint as a judge foil and in the list, which is about as much use as trying to store your own cum in a discarded pizza box beneath your bed. It's certainly a thing you can do, but it's helping no one, least of all yourself. Oboro has a mid-price of around $80 at the moment due to it being a synergistic game piece with the 8 Crabs of Mill, with a limited printing only available in Kamigawa, so the demand is going up and the supply just isn't there because it's never really been reprinted. The foils have some middling prices of around $250 in some places, although MTG Goldfish shows they're over $3,000 for reasons again I don't understand. Perhaps the medium pricing system used via whatever algorithm Goldfish uses likes to smoke some illicit substances before returning a result when I search it. Again, in Europe, you can get one for €75 on Magic Card Market if you're A, happy to have one that's not in English, and B, one that's been used to wipe a baby's arse. Or you can pay €200 for a near mint one in English, although under my experiences lately that means you'll probably get the wrong card in the wrong language and then get ghosted by the seller when you DM them. Interesting though that €200 is around $235, so the differential in price that we saw with Darkness doesn't happen with this land. Now there's probably some logistical reasons for this: supply, demand, the popularity of certain sets in certain countries and that sort of thing, but really I'm just going to blame aliens. Next up, Gaia's Cradle. If you want to spend €400 on a French Magic card that has been bitten into in order to test its authenticity, then you do you, my friend. But this might just be the best example of everything wrong with the pricing of the cards in this game in a nutshell. Why would you pay $400 for this? Next up, we have the freak occurrence of Onslaught Fetches, and as a case study, we're going to look at Polluted Delta in particular. MTG Goldfish has the card at $3,000 a pop for a foil Onslaught Polluted Delta. They're out of stock on Channel Fiber right now, with them pricing it at $1,680. What in the love of fuck is going on? It's interesting to note because this card is not a reserve list staple like the Gaia's Cradle we just talked about. This card has doubled or tripled, actually, in price in the space of a year. Anyone got one of these sat in their EDH decks that they want to sell? Well, you can tell me in the comments below. I don't want to buy it off you. I have literally zero interest, but I would love to hear a story of where someone has just stretched to finish off foiling out their deck, bought this for 120 maybe, about 2 years ago, and now they've gained, what's that? A 1,500% increase in the cost they paid out originally in terms of like return on that investment. Because that's big stonks, as we call it in the MTG finance community. That is number wang. Meanwhile, in Europe, you can get an Italian one that has been trampled by horses for around €350, which is $411. Foil English lightly played, that means it's got a signature and a light nick on the back, €695. Excellent condition, the cheapest excellent on the Magic Card Market website, with signature in silver, €900, which is around $1,050 at the time of recording. That is fucking wild shit. On to movers and shakers. Underground Sea is up 9% this week, probably because reserve list stables are seen as better investments than the ongoing shit savings rates of European and American domestic high street banks. Meanwhile, Volcanic Island from Unlimited fell by 6% because this shit is less predictable than my bowels after a medium heat curry. On a more serious note, Polluted Delta from Onslaught actually went down by 5%, if not in the foil territory, and we have to stop and talk about Golden Tarn and the other fetches from Modern Horizons 2, as they maintain their $40-ish price tag, at least this Golden Tarn does anyway. They were reprinted in Modern Horizons, and I was very critical that it is a premium price product, and thus not what I would call a meaningful reprint. However, the prices have stabilised at, in the case of Golden Tarn, half the price of what they were, and they haven't climbed up that quickly like I had assumed they would. The reason I'm going into this detail and talking to Cameron in a rather serious way is that I want to admit when I'm wrong, because it's okay to be wrong. I guess it's not okay to be wrong all the time, otherwise you probably should just shut the fuck up. But if you are wrong and you can admit it, that might help our entire community and culture wider than the Magic community to admit when they're wrong, because I think we have a problem doing that. So I was wrong on this. I think I'm wrong about Calder and Legacy D&T, but that's a different video. The price will inevitably rebound, but the good thing about the price being so down on Golden Tarn at the moment is that if they do reprint it again in Modern Horizons 3 or whatever the Masters product is next year if we get one, then we might see a Tarmogoyf situation where the card, you know, stabilizes at this price and stays on it. And whilst $40 for one singular land is still way too fucking much, it's a darn sight better than what it was. So I guess we have to, I don't know, take the silver lining, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, drink the Kool-Aid, I don't know. But we can at least appreciate that it's better than it was. Now we've had the somber admission of being incorrect, let's finish on the monkey to throw some shades at Wizard of the Coast. Ragavan sits at a stable $70-ish for another week in a row, with €40 versions knocking about on the secondary market over here in the old world. It's almost like Wizards knew they were going to lose reprint equity to be leveraged in future on the Fetchlands when they finally gave in to the demand, so they purposefully pushed some very powerful mythics in several sets, especially competitively aimed one-dropped mythics in a premium price set, so that would then create a staple that they can then use for reprint equity in the future. And we saw this with the staples that were pushed in the previous Modern Horizons as well: limited availability, premium price, cards got expensive, Force of Negation wasn't even mythic and it was still demanding quite a high price tag, and that gave them something to create chase res in future sets. Although arguably they probably could have not included the old border Force of Negations in Modern Horizons 2 in the set, but still would have sold like hotcakes. So honestly, we probably should give that to them as well. There was more value in Modern Horizons 2 as a product to open and play with than they needed to put into it to sell it. So I will give credit where credit is due there as well. Who thought my jokey MTG Finance video would turn into a product review video, eh? However, whilst we are looking to be honest, let's throw out another observation here. Dragon's Rage Channeler, Ragavan's best friend and possible superior in some ways, has made as much of a splash in Eternal formats, and it was uncommon and you can get a playset for like €4. I mean, it's probably averaging around $8 to $10 in America, but €4 for a playset of this thing. Now, there could be an argument that power level and creep was purposefully spread throughout the rarities of Modern Horizons 2, as this was an uncommon, but honestly, I think they just had no idea what they had on their hands. They had no idea what the power level of this card would be in older formats. That's not to say they didn't have professional players consult and advise on the set, they did, but I'm not convinced they really listened to them if you look at any of their accounts on the matter, the situation, and what happened. But that's just a theory. A reprint equity theory. That's not a catchy catchphrase. I hate it. So Magic continues to be a game of nonsensical costs, price spikes, buyouts, power creep, chase rares, and so on. It's kind of absurd, but honestly, what's new? The game is still a hell of a lot of fun, Modern feels great right now, and EDH is some of the most fun you can have without inserting fireworks inside yourself whilst having clothes on. The secondary market continues to go burr, and Wizards of the Coast continue to ignore that, or claim to ignore that, as they print collectible singles that sell straight to consumer and create reprint equity in chase rares and premium price products at Mythic. In reality, what's new? The world keeps turning, and unfortunately, in the current situation, and to use a pun, climate keeps burning. I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. I hope you've enjoyed this different video from me. Might do another one down the line. Just laughing last night on stream about the price of cards, so I thought I'd talk about it. Are you shocked by any of these? Do you own any of these and you're like, fuck, I need to sell them? Tell me in the comment section below. Let me know if there's something else that's spiked that people aren't talking about that I can then talk about in a future one of these, for example, as well, because that makes research easier for me, and I'm fucking lazy. Until next time, smash that like button, ring my bell, comment down below for the algorithm, but don't say the algorithm, say something else like cheese. And be good to one another. I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.